qualitative and quantitative copying. Uh, I have said in the opinion is the one is the amount. Possibly you are aware of that. University Grants Commission in the year possibly 2017 or 2018, I forgot the year. They have came up with one enactment of act as a UGC Anti-Plagiarism Act or a zero tolerance anti-plagiarism act, as you say. And they have said that 10% of the copyright content you are allowed to do. It's a very word, actually is a very, very contested word, 10%, 10% of what, okay. It's without studying the copyright issues, they have simply said, they have given a very sweeping statement or a general statement. Let us try to understand what is qualitative and quantitative. I'm giving a particular example, okay. Suppose there is a book, and I'm not talking about any textbook, I'm talking about a reference book. You know, almost all reference book is a scholarly activities. And every book, there is some central chapter. Say for a chapter 3, for an example, there are 5 chapters of there. Out of the 5, chapter number 3 is a central chapter, and which consists of 20 pages only. And the total book pages, total number of pages in that particular book is 300 pages. So out of that 300 pages, as per UGC's requirement, is a 10% means 30. Suppose you have copied that chapter 3, which is considered, and how to come to know what is the central chapter? If you, every book is started with some foreword or the introductory part. If you go to that particular introductory foreword part of the book, you will find that what exactly claiming by the author is a central chapter. Based on the chapter, focusing on the chapter, the whole chapter relates. So suppose you have copied the chapter 3, and the chapter 3 consists of 20 pages. Obviously, you should be very happy that I'm in the fair side of the law. But now you are not, because you have copied the central chapter of that particular book. If you have copied the central idea of that book, from which that central idea, the book is stemmed off, certainly it's an unfair use. You have copied the heart of the book, and this is why it's not a fair use. Maybe it's within the 10%, but still it's an unfair use, and that is called qualitative copying instead of quantitative copying. It's a qualitative copy. Okay. Plagiarism, you know, there are lots of discussions going on around right now, but you must be very careful about this plagiarism. Plagiarism is a moral issue. As I said, in Indian scenario, most of the cases we forget to give due credit, due acknowledgement to the authors. Authors are the created content over which my work is based on. If you give proper acknowledgement, even use Urkund or a Turnitin, there are lots of software. There are lots of software in University of Calcutta. We are using the Turnitin software. What is the basis of this software? The basis of the software is similarity testing. Similarity testing, what they actually trying to make a probe or a juxtapose. They juxtapose what is available in the internet and what is available in your article or a book that you want to check. There is a similarity testing. And based on the similarity testing, they give the percent, 10%, 15% or 20%, whatever the percentage lies over. Okay. But apart from all this, there is a moral issue. No, if you have copied something from some analog things or a book which is not in the internet, and this machine cannot understand you, this machine can catch you as a plagiarism act. I mean, a plagiarism, I mean, a work, plagiarized work. So there are lots of fallacies out there, but after checking, it gives you a suggestions or it gives you advice how to remove, and that removal is basically giving the due credit to the author. So plagiarism is a moral issue. Copyright infringement is a legal issue. Obviously, there are some overlapping issues out there. moral issues and legal issues, as I told you. You can avoid any kind of plagiarism. Forget about the Turnitin and the Urkund. Sometimes we do not have the access to the Turnitin or Urkund. As a University of Calcutta scholar, certainly you have access, but sometimes in your life you may not have this access to this Turnitin or any kind of. Always remember that. Always give credit to your copyrighted content over which your work is based on. Give always credit. So your work will be plagiarism free. I was talking about this, a great scholar from Harvard University, Lawrence Lessig. He thought about, when I'm doing some copyrighted works, why should we keep all rights with me? Why don't you share some rights with common man for the benefit of the society? So he started his licensing procedures. I will not go to the detail because we are running out of the time, it's lack of the time. Different licenses are there, CC BY. It is absolutely free, and there is a copyright Creative Commons licenses. You go to the site. Suppose how will you use this licensing? Suppose you have written a ebooks. Suppose you have written an article. You can simply subscribe to the site, and you just underline his statement. You just simply underline CC BY. That will mean copy, distribute, display. If author is saying that my article or my book is covered by CC BY, that means he wants to mean copy, distribute, display, perform, derivative, or commercial, non-commercial, everything is allowed. CC BY, NC, same term only for non-commercial, NC for non-commercial, non-derivatives. Only verbatim, no derivative works you are allowing for anybody else. You are not allowing. CC BY, SA, share alike. As you have made your work free, anybody is using your work, he or she should to share the work free to the common man. And non-commercial share alike, non-commercial, no derivatives. So it is your work, as I said, the kind of rights you want to keep with you, the kinds of right you want to share with the common man, you can go for that kind of licenses. Everything is available, everything is embedded in these 6 types of licenses. Very fascinating. Okay. It's a public domain in our field. Most of the people, whatever is available on the internet, it is a public domain. Absolutely wrong. Because who said it comes under the ambit of the public domain until it is properly expressed? So public domain, there are 2 types of things of public domain. If it is expressed by the author, number 1, or if he or she subscribes to CC0, CC0 means public domain, or you have that copyright is completely expired of that particular product. Because if you visit these Gutenberg sites, there is a very popular Gutenberg sites or a public library, network public library site. Many books are there, and these all books are having copyright beyond actually expired, and the beyond copyright. So all books are right now in the public domain. Counterfeiting and the piracy, very much aware of these terms, counterfeiting and the piracy. One is actually copying and selling it as it's a common, and one is simply replicating the distribution channel, that's a piracy. We visit Chandni Chowk to get the cracked version, popularly called it a cracked versions. It's selling as an original, but it's not an original thing. That's a counterfeiting software. As I said, the digital materials is covered by DRM, digital rights management software, and how it works. Very similarly, it functions when you go for a banking or online transactions. It's having same way. It's a content provider, a distributor is there. When you're trying to access, first you give the royalty fee, only then you will get the primary key or ID password. You'll be able to access it. Very similar way. And what are the practical examples in our library? If you are trying to access any books from our library, eBrary, electronic library of University of Calcutta, or any, it's a basically international site. It will ask you to download this Adobe Digital, because beyond 59 pages you cannot download. If you want to have this beyond 59 pages, you have to download this one. What is very typical from our purpose is you have to tell what are the devices you are using. Suppose you are having more than 3 machines at your home. You have to tell what are the machines, because after downloading that particular book file or article file, you cannot share. Even you cannot share among the machines in your home. Forget about distributing that particular file to the friends or relatives or anyone. You cannot share it. And after 14 days, it will be completely vanished from your machine. So there is certainly a philosophical contrast about this copyright and the open access things. But copyright can also be used very delicately and very judiciously for the benefit of the mankind. If we use in that, how do you identify? Possibly you have seen. See this article or any article. Suppose earlier, what happens in the normal printed world? Printed world happens, there is a ISBN number, International Standard Book Number, or an International Standard Serial Number, and that is unique to the particular book or a particular serial or a magazine or a journal. But in a digital environment, suppose a edited book, suppose an article is written, in a journal, there are 5 authors, they have written, maybe at least 5 authors, maybe more than 5 authors, maybe joint authors are there. I'm taking for an example, there are 5 authors written 5 articles. So there is instead of this ISSN number, International Standard Serial Number, which identifies the particular journal, not the particular article. So we have to understand the copyright issue. We have to granularize more so that all authors who have written their article can get their royalty. So every article is fixed up with DOI as a 16-digit number. DOI is basically digital object identifier. It's a persistent identifier that identifies who is the author of that article, where it was published, and another publications in prints and details, so that you can get the royalty. So it identifies, it's basically a tool to identify your copyright content in the electronic environment. BitTorrent, sometimes we people are very much crazy about that BitTorrent, but you should not use BitTorrent right now. BitTorrent is punishable. Using BitTorrent and download with a systematic download of a film or any big files is a punishable. There is a legal torrent is also there. You can use that. If you're using Facebook or if you're sharing anybody's work in the Facebook, you should be very careful, because all copyrighted content, Facebook, whatever you write, as I said, whatever you write in the email, WhatsApp, or anything, whatever you express from your mind, is immediately it becomes copyrighted. Okay, and Facebook is no exception. File sharing, you should be very careful what you are sending, because in the printed world, in analog world, nobody can see if you give a particular book or a particular photocopy material to another person's. But in the electronic mode, your every step is judged and examined, and there will be always an electronic footstep. Same thing is YouTube. Possibly you have seen this Windows. Many of the videos have been taken down. Cloud, if you are submitting your documents, I do also submit in the G drive or outbox. So you should be very careful, because we do not know, we are not sure, at least law is not sure about who is the copyright owner of the things you have deposited in a G drive or any kind of things, or a cloud. So I will not go to the detail. Copyright infringements. Copyright infringements primarily based on the similarity testing, the striking similarity, property similarity, the common errors. So many things are there. Primarily striking similarity. If you find anybody is written any article, or anybody has done something very similar to your creations, or anybody has copied your basic idea based on your creations was done, certainly you can sue him. So what are the remedies? I have forgotten to mention one thing, if any violations for the patent, design, trademark, there is only civil court, civil remedies available. Copyright is the only intellectual property right where you can directly go to the criminal code, and it is covered by Indian Penal Code 1856. So copyright infringement, civil and criminal remedies are there. Civil remedies, you go for injunction, you can stop damage accounts, as I said. Market effect, if there is a market effect, immediately that persons will check your market. That publisher might come to the court and may examine your personal account, savings account, current account, anything, cost, everything. This is available. The criminal remedies, cognizable offense, imprisonment 3 years, fine up to 2 lakh Indian rupees. And these are the things based on the imprisonment, 50,000 to 2 lakh, criminal remedies up to them. So final words is don't copy and get inspired. And thank you all for your patience. Do you have any questions? Please let me know. I'll be very happy to answer you.
Sir, I have a question.
Please.
If I am going to use any photos or anything from Google, if we see that a line written like that, the image may be subject to copyright,
Right.
can I just use it, or how to get the? Didn't get that. How to get the permission of those photos mentioned clearly as subject to copyright or may be subject to copyright?
Thank you for your very interesting questions and very common questions. Yes, you are true. In the Google image, when we were writing some articles or any kind of artistic or literary works, what we carry out in our day-to-day activities, we picked up photos from the Google images or Bing images, and without taking anybody's permissions. Yes, sometimes we do not take permissions, but if you are using that copyright content or copyrighted images, when it is clearly written subject to copyright, ideally you should take permission from that person. Okay, but what happens, most of the cases it is not possible to find out the copyright owner of that particular image. What happens when you are using that particular copyright and there every image, immediately you can click on the website, you will find at least you can give credit or acknowledgement to that particular website, or if there is an owner named in that particular website, give at least due credit to that person. That is very fair if you do not find the exact owner of the copyright of that particular image. Got it?
Yes, sir, should we include those website address to our
Yeah. There are many references styles are there. Possibly you have learned in your class.
Yes,
APS
yes.
styles, MLS styles, Chicago styles, and Vancouver styles are there. According to the journal citation style that we have been recommended for, you use that particular style and cite that particular image.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
That is a fair use.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? You can also ask questions on the patent, design, trademark, copyright, anything else, including the previous sessions. I'll be very happy to answer.
Seems they don't have any questions. So thank you so much for your such a vivid and nice lecture. We are actually very grateful to you for your valuable time that you have spared for our department and for our scholars. And we thank you so much. And
Thank you
look
so
forward.
much you all too for inviting me for these fascinating classes, because the subject is very close to my heart. Very close to my heart.
Actually, we in future also we want to hear more of you. Hopefully, you could
Yeah.
manage some of time for us.
Yes, certainly. I'll be very happy to be here in your classes and the lectures. Okay. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day ahead to all of you. Stay safe and stay well sound. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Bye. Stay safe. Have a wonderful day ahead.
চলো, এটা তো বেশ হেভি একটা লেকচার হলো। তোমরা তাহলে আমরা আবার মিট করবো সেকেন্ড হাফে 2:30। আমাদের পারমিতা ম্যাডাম নেবেন ক্লাস, আর তারপরে ভ্যালু ডিকশনারি হবে 5টা। টিল দেন, ওকে, গুড বাই।
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.